Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Let's Play Darksiders 2. We're still in the Ivory Citadel, which is a fantastic dungeon. We've cleansed one aqueduct, and some of you may have guessed by now that there are gonna be 3 of them. So let's real quick update that list. We had 3 Heartstones, 3 Animus Stones, 3 Lords of the Dead, 3 Souls for the Judicator, 3 Fragments of the Rod of Arafel, 3 Tainted Aqueducts. Now that that's out of the way, this dungeon has a lot to offer. There are a bunch of new enemy types, not all of which are great. 1/3 of them is kind of stinkers, those being the Lost Souls, one of which we just killed. They don't really offer anything new. The other 2 are pretty fun to play around with, though. And they introduce a new one in each section of the dungeon. The next one coming up we will see pretty soon. I think near the very beginning of this coming in wing. We got the Void Walker back from Darksiders 1, and that's always a super cool item. The layout of this place is nice. We got this backflip through the door like Mega Man. Just pause mid-air while the door loads. And just tons of really good puzzles. Like, I love this dungeon. So up there we have a locked door. Straight ahead to the right is the crystal that we have to blow up with a bomb plant. This kind of forces us to go the long way around from the left. And coming into this big open courtyard, we get introduced to a new enemy type. Starts off showing one of his most dangerous moves, which is that stinger. The Angel Corrupted General. These guys are big, body, heavy hitters, but they are susceptible to being stun-locked to some extent. They're most dangerous when you're far away, when they can do that stinger, which hurts like hell, and it's very quick. Beyond that, the other dangerous position is if you're right in front of them, but if you get behind them, you can just keep them staggered like this, keep you from ever having to deal with them swinging a sword at you. The only thing they can really do to break out of this is try to do that butt slam AoE. So alone, they're really, really easy to stun lock. Oh shit. I was trying to summon the horse. But once they're flanked by some of the lesser angels, some of the lesser legion, that's when they actually become a little bit dangerous. They rev that up forever, man. When you start having to focus on where you're positioned relative to them, what they're doing, what they're about to wind up, while also taking out the fodder, yeah, that's where the generals actually pose kind of a threat and become fun to fight. That and they're just big sacks full of HP, which, considering how much you can stun lock them, can be a little bit fun to just take out some aggression on. They're kind of cathartic enemies in that way. Plus, they have a nifty execution animation. Really, really good. Defeating that second general will open things up, so we continue on to the puzzle, the big overarching puzzle of the second wing of the Ivory Citadel. Those things really just slow you down. They don't do anything else, which is why they're so boring. The last enemy that we're going to get introduced to in this dungeon, though, is one of my favorites in the whole game, so kind of makes up for these being not even bad, just boring. Oh, Vengeful Spirit, not Lost Spirit. I'll just deal with these so they don't stalk us throughout this wing of the dungeon. I don't know if they can go up and down floors, but just in case. Take note of the powered up Pillar of Light and the stained glass for the Void Caller. Be coming back to that in a little bit. It's actually kind of a neat long-term thing. Oh, by the way, I did stop off at Vulgrim before I started recording. One of the things that you can do with the tokens that we've been collecting throughout the game is trade them to Vulgrim. Plus a little bit of gold. And he has what are essentially non-microtransaction-based loot boxes. That would suck if they were mini buys. But what you can do is you can pay him a little bit of gold and a buttload of tokens and get a random possessed weapon, and I happen to get a possessed glaive, which I'm super happy about. Because one, I haven't gotten to show the glaive off enough throughout this LP, and two, I really wanted a nice, heavy possessed weapon. They are much more my style, like the hammers, the axes, the glaives. I really enjoy those. The claws are alright too sometimes, but wanted a nice possessed heavy weapon. And I happen to get a possessed glaive, so we are just gonna enjoy the shit out of that. Now for this puzzle, we are going to utilize both Soul Splitter and the Void Caller. The Void Walker, whatever the hell it's called, the portal gun. We're going to lower this right side first to expose the portal on this side. And then... I don't think I should have done that, right? Yeah, no. Then we're going to place a portal over here. And when we let go of the lever, that right wall raised back up, so we shoot a portal through a portal to stick it to the opposite wall. And this is also a charged up one, so that when we go through it, we come shooting out further to the other side. And then we go over here and lower the opposite wall. And the goal is that we're trying to get shot out from this portal through this one, to this side, which is on the other side of the gate from where we just rotated those levers. So we did all of that work pretty much just to raise that one gate so we can get through. It's a lot of work for one gate, but it's still a really cool puzzle. Another feature to take note of is the black Tainted pool. We'll be coming back for that in a little while. But now we've done all of this work to get this key for that door that was straight forward from us when we entered this wing of the dungeon. And we're going to ignore them, destroy the bomb plant that was blocking us from going off on the right side, preventing us from getting the key too early. And we've basically solved like 90% of this wing. There's still a little bit of work left to do, but we're pretty much there. Oh, that's really good. The critical damage up is the most important thing I'm looking out for in equipment these days. So we'll get in here, and we still have to cleanse this pool, right? But we already have the tools to do that. We've already seen the thing that we're going to use to cleanse this, to bounce the beam to. We passed by it earlier, remember? So we're going to take a shortcut down here. I don't know if they intend for you to fall directly down there, but that worked out. They might have wanted you to take a slightly longer route around. And this is what we passed by before that I told you to take note of. Boom, now we chain the beam through the portal, and that cleanses a second aqueduct. Now back in the main hub room, you may have seen that there are 4 waterfalls. Don't be fooled, there are 3 aqueducts. It's just that the third one has like a little point where it splits into 2 waterfalls. But it's the source of the water is the same fucking aqueduct. It's still in the rule of 3s. I'm not going to stop eating that horse until it's as dead as despair and ruin. Now, that also cleanses this, which I told you to take note of earlier, because this is where we get the second nomad gnome. Now we just have to work our way back up. I'm not sure if there was a faster way, like a portal we could have stopped at to get back up to where we were a little bit quicker, but I mean, it's like a 15-20 second run. And I do intend to get all of the nomad statues, so kind of necessary and very worthwhile. Behind us, out of your periphery, you may have seen some glowing purple hookshot points on the path behind us when I was spinning around before. Those just lead to a single small chest, and I don't think much more. Maybe a token or 2 or some bullshit. But we don't really care about that. Now, next up, you saw the flash of blue lightning. It's that enemy that's been eluding us this whole time. We'll finally fight that once we enter into this third and final wing of the dungeon. I guess puzzle wing. There's still... I don't know if you would count the fourth and final door as its own wing, because it's just where you go to fight the boss. Either way, we have 2 out of 3 of those aqueducts cleansed. Oh god, that's so good. 7,000 too. Like, just that mid-air hit, that lunge straight down. Look at this. This thing's too much. Oh, and it got him stuck. Pretty sure his animation is not supposed to do that. Dude, this glaive. Oh, I might be too high up. Ah. If it only reached a little bit further. So, we were talking about art books at some point, and Badrigos left a comment saying, yes, there is a Darksiders 2 art book, and he has it. But I don't think he said too much else about it. Like, I don't know if there's any interesting commentary in there. There is a cut monster in the concept art called the Ember Hulk, which I looked up and it looks really nifty, but beyond that, I didn't see any kind of developer captions. I don't think there are. Like, no cool insights scribbled in the notes. I flipped through the Darksiders 1 art book, and there isn't anything like that in there either. But you get to see a bunch of early variants of stuff like the logo, one of which looked like the logo for Spawn. You get to see the early name for the game, which was going to be Soul Harvest. Oh, there's this modernized Van Helsing type character named the Hunter. And the early design for War, which was this sick-looking, futuristic, sci-fi, minigun-wielding, kind of 40K style Space Marine armor. It's all black, and kind of a futuristic sheen to it. But actually, we will hear and see a little bit more about... What the hell? What was that? Death, what are you doing? Okay, he did it right this time. He just did a cannonball along the wall and just skidded it to his death. Either way, I really like the way they use the Voidwalker in these sequences, not just for the puzzles, but for the traversal too. It's so cool. Like, they even make the traversal really fun here. This is why I love this dungeon so much. There's so many cool things they do with it. And then, like, before we get to the puzzle section, we start off with the introduction of a new enemy type, this one being the Sycophant, my favorite enemy type in this whole game. One of the most fun ones to play around with. They teleport around like... you can consider them homages to a lot of different lightning-type enemies from Devil May Cry. The Plasmas from 1, I'm thinking of, Blitzes in 4, the teleporting things from DMC Devil May Cry. They share a lot of different elements with all of those enemies. And these ones being so mobile and being small and agile just makes them really fun to fight. Plus, they're actually pretty dangerous. Like, the lightning they teleport in from, if you're standing in that, you take a lot of damage over time. And then they just teleport out of it and immediately start clawing at you. They're super cool. And you have a limited time to combo them, so you have to make every hit count. Goddamn Ivory Citadel. If this was the only dungeon in Lost Light would be my favorite zone. Because, like, Land of the Dead has the City of the Dead dungeon, which is real good, but it also has a lot of stuff that just feels like filler. And the Land of the Dead section goes on for a long-ass time. And then the Forge Lands has some stuff like that, but it's before you realize how long the game is, and then it ends in the Foundry, which is also just fantastic. And it has that awesome boss fight at the very end of the Forge Lands, so that's probably the most solid region of the game overall. This is, to be honest, I think my favorite dungeon in the game. The only problem is Lost Light also has Earth, which is my least favorite, by a lot. So if you're just judging Lost Light on the quality of the Ivory Citadel, holy shit, it's high up there. We've had to do a puzzle like this before, where we place the statue on top of the object we have to move forward. But there's a lot more to it this time. That was just part one of this, because that corruption is blocking a really important Voidwalker point. And now we have to do some cool stuff in order to get access to that. Basically, it's going to revolve around bouncing beams between portals to get it back there. And this one requires knowledge of a couple of different mechanics that we've used up until now. This is, again, one where we're going to make heavy use of both Soul Splitter and the Void Caller. So first, that's not the Void Caller, Void Walker. So we're going to place one down here, and one on the surface that we just rotated. Then we're going to place this back, and we're going to do what we did in the last puzzle from the second wing, which is shoot a portal through a portal onto another point. And then we're going to cancel the one on the surface that was right in front of us, just so nothing weird happens. And then, okay, so we have the portal now on the opposite surface. We're gonna open that up by rotating the lever again, and then we're gonna take the other spectral death back here and shoot a portal at this far away point, which has the laser, and that's gonna power up the obelisk in the middle. Then we can just set this back to neutral, the position it started in, and then that bounces to this one, and boom, we're done. That's so good. That's such a clever puzzle. I think everything in Lost Light is like, the Ivory Citadel is like that. Oh shit, I think I just made a mistake coming down here like this. God damn it. I don't think I can go through... No, I can't go through that. I think I might have to redo this puzzle. Hold on. Oh shit, I think I have to redo this part of the puzzle. I was actually supposed to just backtrack from that right side where I was standing instead of coming all the way down here. Oh shit, I forgot. Is there a way I can get away with not redoing this? See, I let go of this, and then I know I had to put this one there. Where does the other one go? Trying to remember. How do I get away with not redoing all this shit? Oh, the other one goes up here. Yeah, and that powers that up. And that's what cleanses the pool, ultimately. Okay, let me just take care of that now. And that's the third and final aqueduct. Oh, and that popped me right back out. Okay, so I just have to redo this. It's fine. It's like 30 seconds. So we again just rotate the wall around. We go and grab the pedestal. We are going to prop ourselves up on top of it after canceling Soul Splitter, and then redo Soul Splitter so the statue's up top, and redo this again. Oh shit, I still haven't refilled my Reaper gauge. Luckily, there's nothing that I'm going to need it for anytime in the near future. All we have left to do after this is the boss fight. And the boss fight really doesn't call for Reaper form at any point, so we're good there. I think we have business taken care of for the most part. We did get the Nomad statue, right? Yep. We're finding a lot of good purple chess pieces in here. Holy shit. Now we get Voidwalker Point over here, and is there anyone closer than the one outside of the puzzle we just solved? I don't think there is. Yeah, so I think it wants us to go back, which is fine, if not a little bit inconvenient. And one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to point this at the sky and cancel out using the left trigger. The one that's on the ceiling, to make sure that, because you can only have 2 active at a time, I want to make sure that these 2 are the ones active and not the one on the ceiling. Then, whoops. Got the little Dukes of Hazzard freeze going on. And I think we come straight down and we are just about out of here. Yeah, they send you through a little cavern instead of the walkway full of water this time. It's nice they kind of vary it up a little bit. Oh, there's a switch. Couple little things that I forgot towards the end, but not bad. Told you it splits into 2 waterfalls, but it's 1 aqueduct. Don't be fooled. Now that everything is cleansed, we won't take massive amounts of damage crossing through the water, which allows us access to the boss coming up. But I think for now, we'll just do 2 really good bosses next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.